I'm from India. And yes, we're more than texting random women on Facebook, asking them to subscribe to T-Series. In this part of the world we don't have Skinwalker encounters or Wendigo attacks, but the supernatural in India has been present ever since people have been. Before I go further, let me tell you about my vegan friend Daya and her obsession with soybean burgers and soy milk. The only reason I visit her place is because her mom makes killer chicken sandwiches, and her snow-white Pomeranian, Ella. I guess I love Ella more than my friend does. Something very weird occurred, and even though my friend shakes it off, my skeptical mind sees red. She had visited her native village with her family last week. It's 40 kilometers outside the city, kind of close to the tribal locale. They had had a bonfire and sang songs sitting around the fire in the clearing just outside the forest. Her Instagram was flooded with it. They had fallen asleep around the fire. That had burnt low, and she was awakened by a sharp bite on her arm. She woke up screaming, and in her sleepy eyes all she could make out in the dark was a big hairy cat running into the forest. Though it was weird for a wildcat to be that huge, almost like an adolescent tiger. The wound wasn't very deep, and she took a few shots and did the necessary first aid. She surprisingly chilled about being bitten by a weird wildcat and even showed the wound to me, while nibbling on her Subway salad. Looks disgusting with the black spot around it on her left hand. I hope it heals soon. We have stuff to attend to later. 0702-2019. We live nearby and we had groceries to pick up, so Daya and I had gone to the nearby departmental store the other day. Something tells me my friend is having issues in the head. We were done with shopping and I was proceeding towards the counter when I looked back to see where she went. After a little looking around, I did find her, oddly staring at the frozen meat counter. Before I could hark her, she did something that shocked me more than it scared. My vegan friend took out a packet of beef slices, ripped the plastic coating and started putting raw slices in her mouth. She kept stuffing them and gulping them down. I broke out of the initial shock and shook her. She snapped out of her daze but didn't seem to throw away the packet or even spit out the meat she already had stuffed in her mouth. She looked at me, eyes I couldn't really relate with the friend I know, and said, "I think I love meat now." Is she going crazy? 16/02/2019. Okay. I think something has gotten into her. This can't be the girl I knew. I'm typing this as I rub alcohol on this wound on my hand that won't stop bleeding. We were sitting in the college canteen and Daya had no interest in the tofu sandwich she had gotten. I was munching on a hot dog as I noticed her staring at the food. Even before I had offered it to her, she took a bite and managed to sink her teeth in my hand while she did it. "The hell is wrong with you?" I shout, throwing off my chair as the bite starts bleeding. She looks unfazed and says, "I'm really hungry." To hell with this, I mutter and leave the canteen, wrapping my handkerchief on the wound. Getting back home, being the skeptical horror crazy I am, I open Google and type the symptoms I saw develop in my friend over the past few weeks. I even included her being bitten by a strange animal in her native village. After a little searching in the lesser-known sites that deal with occult, what came up was something I was choosing not to believe. She might have been bitten by a pishak that night. A pishak is a demonic creature found in tribal areas of India that feeds on flesh, animal or human, and the victim of a pishak likely becomes one seeking flesh and targeting prey. I shut my laptop, not really wanting to believe what I read. I'm really praying that it's just the wires in her head that went loose and not something more insidious. 22/02/2019. My worst fears have been confirmed. I received a call from Daya's mom. She was sobbing so much I couldn't make out half of what she was saying, but what I heard was enough to be very scared. "Y'all remember Ella? The beautiful little palm? This possessed demon I once called a friend, killed and ate her. Her mother walked in to find her daughter chomping on the innards as the dog lay dying, blood splattered everywhere. Daya has been rushed to the psych ward and she was put into a straitjacket only too late after she managed to bite a nurse holding her down. That's a pishak, there's nothing human left in her. My hand aches and I feel dizzy. The wound has gone black and I have an insatiable craving for meat. I know what this means. I'm typing this to warn people to be careful if they go lurking into forests. I'll lock myself in my room, and this might be the only time you hear from me, or whatever human is left in me.